All right, today we're diving into a text that makes, well, one of the boldest promises I think I've ever seen. It claims to have a new framework for reality itself, one that finally connects the worlds of science and spirituality. Yeah, it's a huge idea, so let's just jump right in and see what it's all about.
So the source material just bam. It kicks off with this incredibly confident statement. And you really got to pay attention to the words here. It's not a theory, not a philosophy, but a working, practical approach. Right from the get-go, it's claiming this isn't just an idea, it's something that works. It's a claim of total completeness, and it really sets the stage for what's coming.
And this bold claim, it's the foundation for a whole framework the author calls consciousness in action. Okay, so what is it really? Well, according to the source, consciousness in action is supposed to be that practical path to spirituality we just talked about. But here's the kicker, the real twist. Its main goal is to build a direct, functional bridge over to the world of science. You know, these two massive domains that for, like, centuries people have said are just totally incompatible. And that, of course, makes you wonder, who's the architect behind something this ambitious? I mean, who would even try to unite these two massive, sprawling fields of human thought? Well, the creator introduces himself pretty directly, Satya Prakash Dubey, and his background is presented as the absolute key to this whole framework. He explains his point of view through this really fascinating duality that, he claims, is what makes this entire thing possible in the first place.
See, on the one hand, he identifies as a yogi, so his perspective is grounded in deep, personal spiritual practice, introspection. This is his foundation in that whole non-material world. But then right after that, he adds the other critical piece. I am a scientist now. So you have this dual perspective, right? The mystic and the empirical, all in one person. And that is positioned as the very engine driving this entire project. The idea is that you have to be fluent in both of these languages if you ever want to build that bridge.
So with that dual identity, the yogi and the scientist laid out as the premise, we can really start to look at the grand ambition of this CIA framework. And that is to actually build that seemingly impossible bridge between science and spirituality. And this really visualizes that fundamental divide perfectly. On one side, you've got science. It deals with the stuff you can see, touch, and test, the material world. Then on the other side, you've got spirituality, exploring these big concepts like the eternal soul. The CIA framework, it doesn't just want to connect them. It claims it can offer a single, unified model that holds both. And the scale of this ambition, it's truly universal. I mean, the text says the framework scope covers everything from material to eternal soul, and from earth to the last heaven. So we're not just talking about finding some small overlap here. This is being pitched as a genuine theory of everything. But, the claims don't stop there, at just being universal. Now we get to what might be the most extraordinary assertion in this entire text, a claim that it's completely invulnerable to any and all criticism. Yeah, the author states, and this is a direct quote, "So it's nearly impossible to have any critique because to which I cannot answer." Wow, I mean, that's a level of intellectual confidence you just don't see every day. The core idea here is that the framework is so complete, so total, that it already has a valid answer for any possible objection you could ever come up with. So how does this all wrap up? Well, the framework concludes by totally flipping the script. It's not about spirituality trying to get validation from science anymore. No. Instead, it throws down a challenge to science. It proposes this radical paradigm shift, that inside this new framework, spiritual concepts, things like the realization of demigods, well, they now must be provable through scientific means. And that leads us with a final, really provocative question that comes right out of the text's own logic. If this bridge is actually built, if this framework is really applied, then how could science prove the realization of a demigod? It's a question that just pushes at the very boundaries of what we even think is knowable. And it's a perfect place to end our look at this fascinating idea.